Take two. I keep doing this, getting interrupted. So I started hiking to try and again up my walk, and also because on my Bluetooth when I walk, I listen to audiobooks, and I've been listening to some books about people who have through hiked excuse me, the Appalachian Trail, which is an awesome thing. And it got me wanting to go hiking. So there's a 1 mile hiking path not far from my house, and I went hiking on that, and it's different than flat out walking, and it's different than running. And I'm doing both on city roads. You know, I have maybe 5 miles to 7 miles that I do on a daily basis. And even running it is not as intense as hiking. I'm not sure why, you know, because the inclines are there, and certainly they're high, but it's not a very long duration of climbing, and it's only a mile. But my knee hurt really bad after hiking, and I'm really not sure why. But my daughter and I went on a 3 mile hike at a local park called Boyce Park. And we went around and hiked, and we went on the green path, the easy path. We went on one, and then we went on another one that would have emptied out right near our car. And so one of the things we found on the longer trail that we went on at Boyce Park was the trail that I hiked here, just a half a mile from my house, is broad, maybe 6 to 8 feet of blazed trail, and it's well defined. There are no blaze marks anywhere, but you know you're on the trail because there's no place else to go. The trail at Boyce Park, however, was thin, like maybe 12 inches of actual path, and in some places maybe 3 feet where it was going downhill or uphill or whatever. And it was very hard to stay on the actual trail because there were a lot of side trails everywhere. Well, you know, like 12 feet you'd go and there'd be a side trail, and then maybe, you know, 20 feet and there'd be another side rail. So we had to actively look for blaze marks on the trees, and sometimes they'd be on the left and sometimes they'd be on the right. It was kind of hard to follow. And when we went hiking, we each took a bottle of water, a 16-ounce, you know, regular bottle of water. Sorry, had to take a break. So we had 16-ounce bottles of water each, one each, and we didn't have any place to really put it. I had mine in my back pocket, and Rachel had hers in her hand. She ended up losing her bottle at one point, which was not very cool because you're not supposed to leave stuff behind. But we did not backtrack to find it, mainly because there came a point where I just wanted to be done, because 3 miles in the woods for me was a lot. We each brought a granola bar. No, I'm not allergic to nuts, but I have diverticulitis, so I never eat nuts. So this one was an oatmeal granola bar, but they both had some chocolate on them, and they were a huge mess. So note to self, bring more water, something to carry it in, like a backpack or a fanny pack or something like that. And if we're going to bring a granola bar, make sure that it doesn't have anything melty on it, like chocolate or junk like that. So we walked, and halfway through the first walk, which I would say was maybe a mile and a half, my knee, on the underside of my knee, the part that bends underneath, was very sore. Same spot that had been hurting this morning. And at that point I just kind of wanted to be done, so we soldiered on. And there was a very short little hike on the way back to the car, and I said to Rachel, you know, well, let's see if we can find this trail. And the map does not seem to coincide with the park very well at all. The trail was much further off the road than I thought it would be, and it was much longer, but the blazes were marked a lot more steadily along that path. It was marked as, again, the easy path, but it had one point that went way down into a gully and then way up the other side, and by the time I got to the top, my knee was really hurting. Today I'm taking rest day because, you know, I don't need to screw up my knees. And it's probably going to be a while before I run. Frankly, what I'm finding is this heat, because now every day is in the upper 80s, and the day that we hiked it was 90. And that seems to really intensify the walk. So I just can't spend 2 hours out in this heat physically exerting myself And especially because on my main walk that I do during the day, I never take water with me, ever. Because then I'm going to have to stop at a restroom. And there's just not very many on my in the city walks that I take. Especially on Sundays and Saturdays. Like the Borough Building is open on weekdays, and I can dip in there if I need to. And there's a gas station that's open, but it's open on Saturdays, but I don't believe they're open on Sunday. And I try really hard not to go to restrooms, but when it's hot like this, I'm just going to have to deal with it. So we got home, and we stopped first to get something to eat on the way home, and we were sitting in a restaurant having girl time, and I felt a little tickle, and I looked down at my arm, and there was a bug crawling on me, and it was a wood tick. So it was crawling. It hadn't bitten me that I know of. I pulled it off and gave it a little squish and got rid of it. We did look at ourselves to see if we had any ticks, but it's kind of hard to tell. So I think that I'm going to be a lot more proactive about that. I love the idea of just going out in the wilderness and hiking the Appalachian Trail and being on it for 4 to 5 months and camping out and all that. But realistically, I'm a bariatric patient. I have to intake a certain amount of water all the time. I am a mother of 6, 3 who are still at home. I'm not taking 5 months of my life to do this at this point in my life. So, but I like these little ticks. See, it's on my mind. I like these little hikes, but I think that I may want to figure out more about how to avoid getting tick bites and, what's the best way to protect myself. Certainly with clothing, maybe sprays. There are some clothing lines that are permeated with the ingredient that keeps the wood ticks off, but probably not hiking in shorts like I did when we went out. So that's it for me. Weight-wise, my eating, no bueno. And frankly, I don't even know how to bring it under control. I'm having some real issues when it comes to that. My exercise is way huge up, like 10, 15 miles a day of walking. And I know that contributes in a huge way to my eating. But here's my eating. Perfect as I go through the day, right up until about 3, which coincidentally is about the time everybody gets home and my stress level goes up. And then after that, it's just crappy. And the feeling that I have when I'm having those crappy eating times is, I don't even care. So my give a damn is broken, and I need to get it fixed. So I'm working on that. If anybody notices that I look like a drug addict because my eyes are all red and stuff like that, I've got a cold, and everybody in my family has the stomach bug. So I'm fighting. Okay, another day in the life.